Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on Upptalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say Upptalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
For provisioning tool, we stated that it is utilized to create the UI and all for the users to go ahead and manipulate the data or to create a new data. Those are the parts why this provisioning tool is utilized. Before going into the provisioning tool, how the data flow will be there, because now we know that how our data has moved till the end. Now how the data will be coming from the UI to the UI for the users. If I would say how this works from over here, because we know from the source it comes to ETL. From ETL it goes to landing. From landing it moves to staging, and from staging it moves to base object. And the supporting tables are there, correct. This is something which we know. This is something for Hub Console. Till Hub Console, we have everything which we want. But from Hub Console or the database, how we go ahead and push the data to the UI. UI means your 360, whatever domain you are using. How you will go ahead and push the data, that the data can be viewed over there. There are three different things which are utilized over here. The reference entities, which I will state as Ali, then your business entities, which is termed as BE, and business entities. And everything has their own utilization. This is basically a situational based. This is utilized for all the CRD operations. This is utilized for drop-down values or lookup data. Now, when I say situational based, it is also utilized for CRUD operations, but it takes the help of business entities. Now, situational, as in when or what kind of situations. Situations means if you have to utilize either a derived attribute. Second is role-based layouts you want to go ahead and create. And role-based layout means your required attributes change accordingly. And third is that validation approaches. For each role is different. Can we use business entities only in these scenarios? Because from base object, or let's say your lookup objects, there will be a direct connectivity for reference entities and business entities. We'll see how we'll be creating that and how that is having a direct relationship. But when we say business entity views, business entity view is having a non-direct relationship with business entities, which means to connect with business entity. You can think this particular table as staging layer and this as your landing layer. When you have to or anything. For these two areas, when you connect it with the help of a mapping. Correct. The staging and the landing, you connected the attributes with the help of mapping. With a diagram where you went ahead and added either a cleansup function or it was just a pass through. Over here, for that particular purpose, we have transformations. Transformations are the ones which will be connecting your business entity to business entity view, which means if we are utilizing business entity view, transformation becomes a must needed configuration. When we say UI and when we are utilizing business entity view, we need transformation. To send the data, because this particular data is directly linked, and to send the data from business entities or reference entities to business entity view. We need transformation to act as a medium that it knows that which particular attribute needs to connect with which label, which we will be creating over here. Then this business entity views utilizes layouts to present the data onto UI. Layout is nothing but how we want to put the attributes at which particular location. The location is simple, that it would be dividing your single page into two or more columns, one or more columns, I would say. And in those columns, you will be just putting all the attributes which you want. We will see how we will be going ahead and doing that. When I'm stating that the data which is needed to push from over here to over here. Whenever there will be an update which will be going in from UI to back to base of it. For any updates or inserts, the same backside will be also utilized. In transformations, there are 5 types. First is business entity to business entity view. Second is business entity view to business entity. Third is business entity to business entity. Then fourth is business entity to XML. Fifth is XML to business entity. These two are utilized for DAS data service connectors. This is only utilized for validation. Now validation approaches. Over here also, I stated that business entity view is used for validation approaches. But these are somewhat like if you have to have a validation which needs to only run when there is an update on that active view. Otherwise, you don't want to run it. Only those kind of validation will protect over here. Let's say there was an email validation which we written. If we don't go ahead and do any kind of updates on this validation, do you think every single time the validation needs to run? Specific to attribute validations or a new data to be generated kind of approaches, we always go ahead and goes in business entity to business entity transformation. This is this particular section, business entity to business entity view, which means it's a red transformation. Now other way around becomes right. Same goes for over here as well. It's a read and it's a write for dash service view. This is somewhat, we'll be going ahead and seeing how it is done. We'll go over here. In business entity, we have modeling. Modeling over. Here you can see reference entities, and business entities. Hierarchies and network diagram we'll see later on, because hierarchies you can go ahead and import from what you have created it, and you can create accordingly again or modify them. This is there. Reference entries when we go ahead and create. Go ahead and delete that first. When I'll be creating this, you can see only the lookup tables have been showcased. There is no other table which is getting showcased for us. It is only for reading purpose. When we say localization, you saw that we had a local localizable. You can see the key columns which are coming up. The country code, the language code, and the value. It will go ahead and pick up the data according to what language you have selected for your system. We'll go ahead and create that. Now for the fields. Fields and lookup fields. These are two things. Lookup fields are created with using the reference, whereas fields are regular text field without relationships. No relationship. All those attributes will be going ahead and created, and we will only create the attributes which are user created, not the system attributes. Create, select the attribute. Now there are a few other related personalities. Read only require URI type, display format, filter searchable. Read only, you know what read only means. Required. This is something which we don't normally utilize for gender or for reference entries. We use this by business entry or in business entry views if we want to make that particular attribute as mandatory. UI are basic columns if you want to utilize by Informatica. If we have, let's say, yes or no kind of thing, we can have a checkbox which will save true or false 1 and 0, 1.1, 1.2 or 0 laundry date as today's date. Those kind of areas are there. Those kind of areas we use URI for. Then the other part is SEO type. SEO type means it's a business entity. Basically a combination of complex object type. Over here we can have a URL, a hyperlink or a file attachment, which we want to go ahead and utilize it. We utilize these things when we have to have a file attachment or something like that kind of attribute. That attribute will be storing all our data, whereas filter will go ahead and filter out the records, what we go ahead and push it for in or not in operators. If I state the value in, only the value which is written, I have written over here this lookup object or the business entity. This particular functionality is also available in business entity also. Only those data which I have mentioned will be only showcased, not anything else. For that particular filter is used. Now, when we started, I was stating that there is a searchable configuration which we have to create for utilizing Smart Search. This is mostly utilized for business entity attributes. But whenever we go ahead and use searchable, we have certain searchable search analyzers from Informatica itself. We have to select which part we want to go ahead and utilize it for. We want to have a general search analyzer. We want to have a suggestion. That means when we go into Google and we type something which we start with and it starts showing up the record, the values for us. The same thing will go over here. Do you want to go ahead and have them sorted in a sorted way? You want this to be a filter. If you say filterable, then all the attributes we can go ahead. If you are going ahead and making it searchable as well as filter, you have to enable this particular configuration. For the best approach, filter can be utilized for lookup objects as well, that you want to showcase some country data to some of the users and some country data to some of the users you go ahead and utilize for this purpose. And once we are done with all the user attributes, then we'll just say publish. All the system attributes will be directly created. Once you go ahead and publish the changes. You can see all of them are created now automatically. Reference entity will showcase the values like this. it will be utilized accordingly. But there is a limit in the drop-down, which is 3000 records. If your lookup table is having more than 3000 records, then you have an issue that your drop-down will not show the entire data. Then how you will go ahead and do that? For those purpose, we use business entity for lookup attributes as well. When we use that, we use queries or searchable in dialog box as well. Now, second thing is when we want to go ahead and have a dependent lookup, then our lookup will be created as a tree structure. We have a state and this is a country. You can see country and state are both linked together. Anything which we have to go ahead and have dependencies one after the other, and let's say city would be there. I'll go ahead and create a city over here as well. Until or unless I go ahead and select country, my state will not be populated. Unless or until I go ahead and select country state, my city won't be populated for me in the drop-down. There is no table which we are creating. We are just creating the configuration on this table which we have already selected. That's what I stated, that base object and lookup tables are directly linked with business entity and reference entities. Because I am selecting which table over here and I am selecting which attribute, this attribute will be showing the data. You can see system columns. If I am not creating the system column, the provisioning tool will go ahead and create those columns for me. To save time, because these all system columns will be generated automatically for me, I do not go ahead and create those. It will be pointing to the same table. Also, this is from gender table. These fields are creator, which is an attribute, created as an attribute. Row ID object is an attribute. All these will be pointing to itself. Even if I go into the country where I have country code and all, you can see country description, country code updated by, and all those things are there. One to many for state also. I have all these things. And in provisioning tool, let's say we have the model. Always the model will be created in the tree structure. Let's say we had party, we had address. It will be created in, this will be created in one to many or one to one. One to one will be created if your party ID will be unique. Over here, we have not gone ahead and created the column. I don't know what I have changed or not. Over here, party ID, you can see I have not created as unique. If you go ahead and create this thing as unique, then your entire thing, which I have gone ahead and created as one to many, you can create it as one to one as well. Otherwise, if I go ahead and try to create one to one, I will not be showcase anything. It needs a unique constraint for relationship. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.